Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm glad that you're spending some time with me today. I hope this can help you. It's just a few of my insights on finding yourself. See, this past year, we experienced a collective trauma. Even if we don't know anyone personally impacted by COVID 19, we still had the experience of our worlds changing. We all got to see that the things that were once so reliable and so predictable in our lives no longer were. We found our work, our hobbies, our travel aspirations, everything got turned upside down in a moment's notice. And to be very honest, it wasn't at all what anyone was expecting. And if they could have even predicted it, we still probably could not have anticipated just how deeply this COVID 19 experience reverberated through the world. It was nothing that we've ever seen before in this life that we've been sharing together on this planet. Even the oldest person on this planet probably has no recollection of the Spanish influenza outbreak, which had a similar effect on the system at that time. So, what we're doing now is coming back to a sense of normal, but it's, as we've heard many times, a new normal, a completely different world than what we used to experience. So, with all of the changes that have gone on the world scene, we might find ourselves feeling a bit unsteady, and we are probably all questioning what really matters. I think many of us came to the conclusion that we were not living our best and fullest lives. And even further, we probably realized that we had been going on autopilot for a while. So, somewhere along the way, we feel like we may have lost our verve, lost our inspiration, lost ourselves. So, the question is, how do we find ourselves again? How do we go into this new paradigm with a renewed sense of self, especially when so much that we once considered reliable has been turned upside down? First off, let me just state that you are not lost. Therefore, there is nothing to find about you. You are not a lost soul. You are not a wind swept leaf. You are who you are, and just as you need to be for this moment in time. It may not be ideal for your mind, but whatever you are in this moment is perfect for the next moment. And it'll be perfect for the moment after and the moment after as you build toward the change you want to see. And all you need to know is that whatever discomfort you're feeling in your current life is just giving you clear signals about what you want in the future. That's it. Finding that core of who you are, the core of you doesn't change. What matters to you doesn't change. It may be expanded, but it doesn't change fundamentally. The values inside of you that you possess that have been guiding you, whether you've been listening to them or not, they don't change. So, part of your journey is not to find yourself, but to reconnect to that which has always been true. The way that you do this is simply by looking at what you don't like and flipping it around. It's just that simple. We live in a world that's a spectrum, of course. It's rarely black and white, it's usually some shade of gray. So you may hate the work that you do. It may be soul sucking and frustrating, and you may feel like your skills have languished in that field. You're not a lost soul still. What you are is a person dissatisfied with their current work and looking for an opportunity to be more fulfilled. Learn how to carefully craft your language to suit what's really going on because you're not lost. You don't have to find yourself. You simply have to reconnect to yourself. That's it. It's just that simple. Now, I've gone through this process multiple times over the years. I've done this, and what I usually do is go through the process of journaling to uncover what really matters to me. But the truth is, to look at my old journals and to reflect on who I was 5 or 10 years ago, I can assure you who I am now is quite different. So even if I did feel like I'd lost myself, the self that I was 5 years ago, that lost self looks nothing like the lost self of today. So who you are right now is perfect for positioning you for the next moment. So this begs the question, what if I can't remember who I am? Does that not mean that I'm lost? No, it doesn't mean that you're lost. It means that you've simply forgotten that core of you, which means you have to go back. It's just that simple. Go back in time. Go back to when you were a small child. Remember that we were our purest, most authentic selves when we were first born. It doesn't get any purer and more authentic than that. Everything that happens after that is an influence of the outside. So the further you go back, the younger you are looking at who you were, that is the truest you. So for me, just as an example, when I was about the age of 3, I started to read. When I was at the age of 5, I was in kindergarten. I had a resource teacher who told my mom during parent teacher conference that he was fascinated that I was already creating stories. Fast forward a little further, we've got the age of 8. I realized what an author was. I knew before, but I realized I could be an author. I could write my own stories, and I knew that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a writer. And from the age of 8 to 13, that's what I wanted. Then high school came, and there are guidance counselors and people telling you to be realistic and all sorts of things with that. And I ended up just kind of putting that dream on the shelf while I pursued other things. I ended up going to school and working, and it wasn't until I was finishing up my degree, and I took a while to finish my degree because I worked full time from the age of 18 on. So I went to school part time most semesters. I went to an English class, it was an advanced composition class, and I wrote a story, and my instructor told me to, dig a little deeper. I dug deeper, and I realized this is what I loved to do when I was younger. I loved to create these stories, and I got an A on that assignment. She commended it. She said it was excellent, and even if she didn't, the exercise of digging deep was what I needed to reconnect to myself, because that was a part of my life that I had put on the shelf for so long, I'd kind of forgotten about it. You might have to do the same thing. You might have to dig deep, go backward, and figure out who you used to be and start there, because no matter what your core was, you can reconnect to it. Even if your core was to be a basketball player, a professional basketball player, but you only grew to be about 5 feet 2, it doesn't matter. There was something there that was speaking to you, and you have to listen to it. What was it about this particular path that you wanted as a child that appealed to you? Was it the athleticism? Going back to that basketball player example, was it the athleticism? Was it the travel? Was it the money? Could be anything. Was it the uniforms even? What appealed to it about you? Start there. If it's something that feels unlikely in your current physical self, for whatever reason, let's say you feel that you're too old, or in the case of a basketball player, too old or too short, or too something else, that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean it isn't you. It just means you have to figure out the feeling that you got from that experience and recreate that in your life now in order to reconnect to your truest self. Speaking to that point of reconnecting to your truest self, one of my dreams when I was younger was to be a fashion model. Oh, I wanted to be a model. America's Next Top Model was on TV, and I just thought it was a really glamorous world, and I wanted in. However, I was not tall enough for the most part. I'm only 5'5". So for the kind of modeling that interested me, I wasn't tall enough and I was not thin enough for the designer sizes. I'm not curvy enough to be plus size, and I'm not thin enough to be a fashion model. But what I learned through this exercise of digging deep and taking those layers off is that I didn't want to be a model. What I wanted to be was happy in my body, and I wanted to feel beautiful. I also wanted to travel into exotic locations. So the biggest one, though, was wanting to feel beautiful. That's something I can give myself. I can do my own work on me to affirm my beauty. And as far as the travel, until COVID, travel wasn't an issue if you have the money. You buy a ticket and you go somewhere and you do what you want when you get there and then you fly back home. That's simple enough. And feeling good in your body, that's the same as being as the beautiful part. That's something you can do for yourself. Whatever it is that you don't like about your body, you simply take care of your body to the point where it becomes what you want it to be. It's healthiest and most vibrant. So that's what you have to do sometimes. Maybe, like I mentioned with the basketball example, maybe what you wanted was to be a basketball player, but you're not tall enough. What you really wanted was to be considered athletic and strong and to feel very agile. Perhaps you wanted to be a doctor, but now you feel you're too old and you're really not interested in studying it. But maybe what you really wanted was the chance to help people in a very tangible way. Perhaps what you wanted was to be part of the life bringing process, especially if you wanted to be a doctor that delivered babies. Maybe you just wanted to be able to be part of that process. Um, there are many other professions or vocations that call us, and many other things that we desire. And it's not the actual role that we may be desiring, it may be how we think that role is going to make us feel. It's important to make that distinction, because if you don't, you'll find yourself going very far along a path that really isn't authentic to you. And you will find that you've lost yourself once again, because you've gone down this path that doesn't resonate with your purest self, the core of you that goes beyond a career, beyond a vocation. It's the core of you and what makes you feel alive. That's what you're trying to get to. That's how you find yourself. You find yourself by figuring out what makes you feel alive. It's that simple. And it's that hard. It's not a path for the faint of heart, because there is a lot of work with it. But it's something that if you take your time and pace yourself, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. Now, I have something here. Please pardon me, I had to reach down and grab it. I have my Create Your Vision notebook. This is one tool of many that you can use. You can use a plain journal to do the exercises that I mentioned. But if you want to fast track it a little bit, you can use this journal. There are 25 different covers. This is not the only one. And it will walk you through the process of creating this new vision for your life. Because if you're on this path trying to find yourself, what you may find is that there are many things in your life that you want to shift and that you want to create a new chapter in. So this book can help you with it, of course. And like I said, you don't have to buy it, but if you do, there are exercises and prompts similar to what I just described to you, that you can use to get to the core of what you really want. And then there is plenty of space in the back to write it down. Now, as you can see, there is text, so this is not a blank notebook. However, you can come back to this video with a blank notebook and ask yourself the questions about: what were you when you were young? What was your goal? What was your dream? What did you envision yourself being? And getting down to what that actually means for you currently and where your life is off the mark right now. It's so much, but it's so worthwhile. And if you pace yourself, grab a journal to do this work. It's the best work you can do because it's the work that brings you closer to your truest self, which is where your happiness lies. Happiness is in authenticity. No one is ever happy faking the funk. It's a matter of being as real as you can be. And when you are getting to that point, you will find that the journey is smoother. It may not always be easy, but the smoothness of it, it's not complicated. It just is. It's natural. It feels much easier than pretending to be something else. So, again, if you feel like you are lost and that you need to find yourself, take heart. You're not lost. There's nothing to be found. You just have to reconnect. And reconnection is as simple as asking yourself what was and figuring out what happened from that point. So that's it for my video today. Again, this is the Create Your Vision Journal. I will put links in the description box. If you have questions outside of the journal or about this video, please let me know. I'm eager to hear what you have to say, and I hope you have a fantastic day or evening wherever you are. And of course, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe, and I would love to have you on my channel enjoying this material. I love being able to connect with you all too, so please leave me a message in the comments so that I can respond. Thank you so much and have a great day. Take care.